So, seen any good moves lately? Welcome back to the Week 5 recap for Big Brother 27 here on Seen Any Good Moves Lately. I am your host, Joey Olberding, and today I am joined by the amazing, the likable, the eccentric, and the crazy Alec. How are you doing, Alec?
I'm doing great. That was a fantastic intro for me. Eccentric and crazy.
Well,
That's what the E and the C stand for in my name.
yeah. It's all just one big title, but you shorten it, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, Sort of like a lot of things in BB are just like it's shortened, such as BB Blockbuster, stuff like that. But I had to ask you, Alec,
Yes.
how are you doing? And also, what are your thoughts on the season
Oh,
so far?
Joey, I am doing amazing. It is such a good time to be a fan of reality television.
I know.
Survivor Australia versus the World has just happened, or
hmm
has just premiered. Amazing premiere. I don't know if you've caught it yet.
I'm gonna watch it with my brothers, and I'm planning on doing it actually like right after this podcast.
Oh,
So,
nice. Oh, well, I won't
uh,
keep you too long because it's a fucking good episode. Survivor 50, of course, looms in the background. It's on everybody's
mhm,
minds. We have
mhm.
another season to get to before that. Traitors has just announced that we're getting U.S. civilian seasons, so we're getting double the
Oh,
traitors
I
every
didn't,
year.
I didn't even know that. That's
You haven't heard
awesome.
that news, Joey?
No, I didn't hear that.
Oh my god, yeah,
That's
we're getting fall traitor seasons starting next year, and they're going to be civilian seasons. So there's going to be a celebrity. Oh my god, I can't. Joey, you can go apply right now for traitors.
oh my
The
God, I gotta
That's
go.
happening. I convinced my mom. I'm going to help my mom apply for traders
Hell yeah.
later this week. God, what else? The Amazing Race 38 with the Big Brother
I'm really
season, the
excited for
tie-in.
that. Yeah.
Very exciting for that. And there's also a season of Big Brother happening right now.
Oh yeah. No, that's
Yeah,
that's true.
and
Yeah.
yeah, that's all well and
Honestly,
good.
as somebody who does a podcast like once a week, I don't know what to do. It's like there's so much I could report on. There's so many shows I could cover. But for now, I'm gonna stick to Big Brother until I change my
You've already comminated.
mind. I have
It's week 5. You can't
exactly.
dial it back now. You can't.
Yeah.
You're in for
So
the long haul.
with that in mind, I have to ask you. Well, first of all, I want to know what is your experience with Big Brother going into this
Mm,
season and kind
yes.
of going into this podcast.
So I believe, what they would consider a new era Big Brother fan.
Mm,
I started watching in Big Brother 23 was my first season that I
gotcha.
watched. Been watching it since then. Um, Watching is sometimes a strong word. A lot of the time, I'm watching everything that I can at the beginning of the seasons, and then toward the end of the season, I'm just keeping up with it through Taryn Armstrong and through
Yeah.
Twitter.
hmm
Um, and I have found a healthy mix of the two for Big Brother 27. And gosh, it is a little bit of a much more pleasant experience to be absorbing a Big Brother season at a little bit of an arm's length and to
Yeah.
not be consuming it so much all the time. So I'm having a very healthy relationship with this season compared to my past seasons of Big Brother. I have not gone back to watch very many seasons of Big Brother. Actually, in fact, the only Big Brother season I've seen pre 23 is 2. I
Me
went back to.
too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I actually
Exact same
didn't watch.
seasons?
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did see
Oh,
parts of it. So
oh,
you know.
Big Brother 2, fantastic. I've on like a whim a couple of years ago. I went back. I watched the whole thing in a couple days. So I've talked about my mom a lot on this podcast. My mom, who I'm having apply for traders, is has been slowly going through a bunch of the reality competition shows and watching
hmm
all of them. And she's just started her Big Brother watch. She's at the end of Big Brother 2 right now. She's coming up on 9/11, and I'm excited to hear her reaction on that. What a did you you didn't say, you said you didn't finish it, so you definitely didn't see the 9/11 episode.
But I've seen the clip though.
Oh
I've
my
seen the
god.
clip. It's
It, an
crazy.
insane time capsule of the time, and one of the craziest episodes of television, one of the most emotionally devastating episodes of television ever. Um Great stuff in Big Brother 2. So that's the limit of
That's
my experience. And I know like what happens in the rest of Big Brother. I know about Dan's funeral and like the
yeah.
I know. I just haven't watched it. Um
That's one thing I'll say about Big Brother. Like the one thing I can give Big Brother over Survivor is that it definitely has like more of a sense of like time than
mhm.
Survivor does. Like it really feels like if I'm watching Big Brother 2 from 2001, it feels like I'm in 2001.
Yep.
And I feel like the same kind of applies to this season where it's like you got so many like different personalities. It all sort of culminates in like, yeah, this feels like in 10 years, this will feel very 2025.
This season will not age well.
No, no, that's part of the implication is that you'll have like I don't know. It's a clash of ideas in 2025 that I think is fun. You have like the weird hipsters like Vince and I guess Kelly. You have the radical feminists and still the like misogynist like Catherine and Riley. You have
Match made in heaven.
Match Made in Heaven. Really weird stuff. I mean, you got I don't know. Keanu feels very he wouldn't have existed 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
And we'll talk about we'll of course get to Keanu. We'll get to everybody.
yeah,
But Keanu is shaping up to be one of like a very special. I'm holding a small chapstick. A very special like fun character.
yes, yes, in reality TV history, really.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's only week 5, and I
it's
hope
only
he'll be
week 5.
around for a long time. And I hope that Keanu stock goes to the moon. Maybe not on the
Yeah,
stock watch, but just just in life.
yeah, just in life. All right. Well, with that, let me just ask you, what are your thoughts on this season so far?
So I'm liking it. As I said, I have a healthy relationship with this season, which feels great. If something happens that I don't like, I'm not that broken up about it for that long. And if
Yeah,
something happens that I do like, it's awesome. Speaking of stuff that I did like, what a week to be talking to you after the
I know.
Thursday that we had. Oh my God. Something that will live in history forever is Zach's decision to not use the fucking
The
the
crazy
veto
thing about
exhaustion.
Zach's decision not to use the veto is that like it's probably the stupidest decision of the season, but that's not guaranteed. You could make a few other cases for stupidest decision, like Vince putting Kelly on the block week 1, Mickey backdooring Jimmy for seemingly no reason. You know, there are a lot of options, but Zach's uh, absolute stupidity is still probably number one beyond all those other things, which is truly
Yeah.
incredible.
Zach got immediate blowback for it, which was nice that somebody did something completely wrong and it immediately blew up in their face and they
Yeah,
like there was no other way to look at it, which is always good. Which hasn't been happening a lot.
no,
Specifically
no,
with
that's
someone like Vince who is has a completely awful first HOH and then is just in a pretty good spot for most of the season coming out of it and is like, yes, he's in danger this week, but if he can make it through, is probably going to be completely fine.
yeah. Or Riley, who is just like being Riley, and everyone's like, "Oh, that Riley."
Oh, he's going to be AFP. He
Yeah.
probably is. He's
Uh,
probably going to be.
my money's on Ava right now until I'm proven wrong. I feel like people love Ava, so or maybe Rachel. I mean, Rachel is right there
Remember
still.
when Cameron Harden beat Sari Fields in an America's favorite player vote?
Yeah, that did happen, and then he came back for Big Brother Reindeer games. Yeah, the shout out Cam. Woo.
What a season of television that is. Um,
Yeah, that was my first Big Brother season. Was 25.
oh, gross! And
Because
then you have a podcast about it, and you're still here.
well, that's the thing. When I started this a mere month and a half ago, I thought I'll do this for like 1 or 2 episodes and then I'll probably get sick of it. But the reason why I'm still here is because I am enjoying the season because there's like no structure right now. It's
Oh,
still
it's
absolute chaos and nobody knows how to play the game. It's
yeah,
like it's kind of like watching a Survivor Gabon, which I don't know.
it's fine.
But yeah. But it's a unique watching experience, unlike anything else. So
Yeah, of course.
it's fun and I'm enjoying it. Now once things get a little boring, like maybe even Alliance takes over, then maybe I'll get a little more bored, comma dot dot dot. But if that Alliance is say Rachel and Keanu and Kelly, then I'll be like, wait, I might have to keep watching.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I think it might. I'm sure it'll happen at some point, but I think it might be pretty late into the game before we get a solid alliance that's like a legit alliance and not just like I guess whatever the Big Brother equivalent of a voting block would be.
Yeah.
Like a don't nominate each other block, I guess. And but I think that everyone is just so strategically just has nothing going on and would like fumble through a game of checkers.
Yeah.
But they would make good friends with the person they're playing against, and that person would have a great time beating them. So I guess that's the spirit of the season. So I don't think there will be like a solid power structure ever until we get into like the fewer numbers. Like definitely past jury is probably when I could see that realistically like legit happening. And that's exciting.
It's so awesome because it feels like the game is balanced in a weird way. Like everybody's sort of on the same playing field in an odd way because like you have the strategic people like Ashley and Morgan and of course Nikki who are like probably and Rachel to some extent who are probably like the best strategic players but absolutely have abysmal social games. And you have the people with good social games like Vince and Riley and does anybody else have good social game? Lauren, I guess maybe I don't know. Who have not been giving it strategically. Vince has like been okay in sections and then terrible in others. So he's in a really weird spot in that conversation. But yeah.
And this is again a sign of the strategy of the season. When you started listing off good strategic players and then said Ashley, Morgan, and Mickey, I thought you were kidding.
I mean, here's the thing. Full discrepancy. Like they were good strategic players until somewhat recently. But even still, they're still the ones who are trying to be strategic.
They are active strategic players, and I will give
Yes.
them that. And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a season of television. What an event that is happening on our screens is the everyone. God, there's so much meat to unpack in this.
I've just been waiting for the other shoe to drop of like the whole season, this whole time of like, okay, this is so fun. Then we're finally gonna play Big Brother. And the other shoe just has not dropped yet. It's just been constantly evolving degrees of stupidity. It's amazing. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like it on reality TV. I can't think of anything. Like it's
Do
something
you
else.
do you think we've seen the dumbest thing happen this season already with Zach? Like I like I can't imagine there's going to be many more powers that go into the game, and I can't imagine that any of them, if they do, are going to get unused. So maybe he's just got got the dumbest move of the season in the bag already. But it happened pretty early. Like there's still a lot of people left. Like there's still a lot of idiot. I shouldn't use that word, but I'm going to strategic idiots in the house. Like the have we hit the floor already? Do you think?
I can envision a world where like it's final three. Keanu wins, the final competition. He has the power to take somebody to the end and chooses to eliminate Kelly instead of like Rachel and then loses to her in the end. I could see something like that happening, for
Yeah.
instance. Um, I could also see Rachel or Keanu winning HOH and being like, okay, now we got to get rid of Rachel though, or something like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know if anything's going to top Zach, but I do think we're going to get some things that can be argued close or equal.
Yeah, I could see if Kelly makes a really long run in the game, I could see her doing something like I don't even know, like winning the final four veto and like
Not
giving it
using it.
up,
Yeah.
not using the final four veto on herself or something like that to like not get jury blood on her hands because she doesn't want to be
Oh
the one
my
to pull the
God.
trigger. Like something
That
like
would totally happen.
I
Yeah.
I think if the right people make a deep run, I think the possibilities are really endless here of what we could see happen. So
Mhm.
for Zach's sake, maybe something dumber could happen.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think the best way to talk about dumb people is to start talking about the people in the game. And we
Yes.
might be starting with one of the dumbest in his own way. And that would be Riley. Check out this cool new graphic I found. It's yellow.
That is
Um,
awesome. The yellow, my favorite color, actually. A lot of
well,
people
I,
don't
I
know
did
that.
it for you.
Thank you.
What do you think about
So I think that Riley is a disgusting freak. I
Riley?
think that I every time I open Twitter and I see a clip of Big Brother 27, there's a coin toss that it is Riley saying something that no one should say to anybody ever.
Especially
And
not in public spaces where everybody in the world could potentially see you.
especially not on TV.
Yeah.
Especially not on Big Brother, the show where everyone sees everything.
Mhm.
I think Riley is probably the front runner for getting out of the house and saying y'all don't see everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
which
Honestly, I think that could go to a lot of people. I could see Nikki saying that. I could see Morgan saying
oh yeah.
that. I could.
Oh yeah, they're definitely when they get out of the house and when especially Mickey when Mickey gets out of the house and realizes how that she has become quite unpopular.
Mhm.
Yes, this seems like a very defensive cast, and I
Oh,
can't blame people
absolutely.
for being defensive when they've when you get out of a reality television show when you are receiving a lot of negative feedback about yourself. I can't blame anybody for getting defensive about that, but it's a little bit easier to blame them on Big Brother when we see exactly the extent of everything that's happening.
There have already been like some needlessly defensive contestants. Like 4 people have gone out so far, or maybe 5. And Amy was defensive about being like, "Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. It was just all Rachel's fault that I
Yeah,
was in this position." And then Adrian was like, "Okay, but like if I got the comps that I like trained for, I would have like won." And it's like,
yeah.
dude, you were like you liked bread. That was your personality. Your personality was bread. Um, so whatever. Um, all that being said, my opinions on Riley basically echo yours. However, there are dubious things about him that go beyond just his personality. It's dubious because he's like theoretically in like one of the best positions in the game because still nobody wants to target him. It's
Hmm.
crazy. Everybody sees Riley and Catherine as numbers for them and are like, yeah, we'll take care of that later. So
I yeah, I have to think that Riley, just the way that people that I've seen people talk about him in the house and like people could like Jimmy's whole thing. I don't know if you saw it, Jimmy. I think it was like an Instagram live or something where he came out of the house and we were like, or he was like, yeah, everybody thought that Riley was gonna win
I
American
did
Next
see
Top Model.
that. Yeah.
Which really worries me because I do think that Riley probably has a pretty good chance to win the game.
Yeah. I think so
But
too.
I also think he's the front runner. He's the front runner for a lot of things. I think he's the front runner to get ejected.
I was gonna say that. So my thought is Riley's biggest weakness and the way that he could get out of this house is himself. And I don't
Yeah,
just mean by being, like uh, mean to people and being a terrible person or whatever. I mean like literally like I could see him getting nominated by like I don't know, like Vince or somebody and him just like punching him or something. Like I
yeah.
could see it happen.
Willie Hansing his way out of the house. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Would you be mad if I killed you?
Yeah, like theoretically, yeah. Like I saw that one. I think yeah, I don't like Riley, but
Yeah.
I
What
feel
a
like
freak.
that's the other shoe that could drop on the season is okay, yeah, this is all fun and games, but as long as Riley's still here, there's always going to be that malaise over the season of like, yeah, but like 2 people in this game are just ruining the vibes of the house, and the vibes are already quite bad. But it's only worse because of Riley being here and also him being on the season. And it's not like he's giving anything strategically. He's just not even playing the game, and he's falling upwards. That's what he's been
What
doing this whole season.
what do you think a Riley if Mickey had never gotten that power, what do you think Riley's HOH would have looked like?
Oh man, women. I think he would have
Oh
nominated
yeah,
women.
didn't he say he was going to nominate Mickey more than Ashley? Is that what he said?
Yeah, that is what he said. Yeah, if I recall correctly. Um, which checks out. I'm
Yeah.
not surprised.
Hmm.
Um,
I could have
so
guessed. I could have never watched a single episode of the season, and if somebody pulled up cast photos and was like, "This guy won HOH, guess his nominations," I would have been able to do it pretty easily.
a lot of times, when we're on the internet and we see stuff about like, okay, these are the people that we've learned are going to be on Big Brother or Survivor or whatever, people often like get way into like, oh, this person's like a lawyer, like she's going to do really well, or like this person, I saw this post on Twitter and I'm not so sure about them anymore. And with Riley, people were like, this guy seems like an absolute piece of shit. And I'm like, yeah, he probably sucks, but like, can we at least see the show first before we like judge somebody and like maybe he's actually cooler or whatever. Not like I was really thinking about that about a guy who looks like Riley, but I like to give the benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
to people to some extent. He's been worse, like
It's
worse by a lot.
yeah. You know what the sign was for me? It was that video from the preseason of him talking about how he's such a good person. He just like loves everybody,
Yeah.
and he just like the like half-ass politician answer to I don't even remember what the question was, but it wasn't even an answer to the question of him just being like, I just hope everybody has a good time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, like, when I saw him and I heard this stuff, I was like, okay, so like this guy's gonna be Cameron BB25, but
Yeah.
again, pretty much.
Yeah.
But no, it's been worse
It's
because like
it's like if Riley from BB25 had stayed in the house with Cameron, and
yeah.
then we got to see Cameron uh I don't even know what the right word is here.
Transform into him, kind
Yeah,
of.
transform into fucking Jesus, I
Yep.
don't even know. What a creep. What a creep. Both of these guys. Why does this keep happening? Stop putting cowboys on fucking television. They're
Yeah,
weird.
put together a brand steal of BB25, but replace Red with Riley and just have the worst vibes of all time. Like poor Suri. Um, yeah, I mean, to speak a little more about Riley's game, I guess if there is one, um, he's fallen upwards, and he seems just like so. I think people are legitimately scared of him. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think that they'll say that, and maybe they didn't even realize that, like, consciously. But I think people are afraid to put up Catherine or Riley in a different way than they're afraid to put up, say, a Mickey or a Morgan
Mhm.
or even a Rachel. Like, because the one time Riley did go up, he was pissed off and I'm Riley and I'm mad, whatever.
Well, what did he say to me? He was like, fuck you to Mickey or something. You fucking liar.
I mean, Jesus. And like, yeah. So honestly, if I were in Big Brother, the strategy I would do is I would put up Riley and Catherine, not to even necessarily get either of them out, but just so I could make Riley mad enough to punch me in the face so he would
Yeah.
get out the game automatically. Like
Yeah.
I'll take a punch. I'll do it. I'll,
I sort of did that in
yeah,
an org once.
yeah. I mean,
Somebody was like in a Big Brother org. Somebody one time was like, "Please don't nominate me," and then I nominated them, and then they got so mad that they sent me screenshots of DMs with another player, and then they got ejected.
wow. Yeah.
So that's what I would do to Riley.
That's great. I've been in the position in Survivor orgs before where I've sort of controlled a majority alliance, and I've made people mad enough to basically ask me to vote them out because I'm like, I don't want to deal with your shit anymore, which is awesome. Shouts out to emotional manipulation. When
Yeah,
it
it's
works,
great.
it's fun,
And
especially for you.
you know who else would like to give a big shout out to emotional manipulation?
Mhm.
Riley.
True. I'm not quite. There were levels. I'd like to think I'm on a different level than Riley.
Yeah, I
Um,
think the having a dominant alliance in a Survivor org does not compare to uh God, what was the clip that I saw today of Riley of him being like, "Do you have a fucking problem with me?"
Yeah, yeah. It was him. It was Catherine talking game with I think like I don't know Rachel or somebody, and her going back to report to him, and he's like, "Why are you talking to me? Why are you talking to me? You hate me, or whatever." So really normal stuff. That's
Yeah.
just normal human conversation. That's like normal.
Yeah,
Um,
you know how you talk to your grandma.
yeah, exactly. You talk to your loved
You
ones.
know, you
Yeah.
talk to everybody on
Yeah.
TV.
Okay, that's all I really have to say
Yeah,
about Riley.
I could talk about Riley all day or never again, and I would be fine.
Yeah, exactly. I think once again in 10 years, Riley will be a fascinating case of how did this guy ever get on reality television, comma, because he already is that right now. But it's just gonna, grow in scale. So
Yeah,
that's Riley.
and the TMZ articles about Riley are gonna be amazing.
Yes, exactly. Next up, let's talk about Ashley.
Yes,
What do we think about Ashley?
Ashley is one of the I I think there are some question marks on this cast,
Hmm.
but Ashley is not one of them. Ashley, it is evident in just and I tend to just be fond of people like this in in all shows where you see
Yeah.
this person, you hear them talk or do anything for 5 seconds, and you're like, oh, I totally get why you're on this show.
Yeah.
It is immediately apparent. Like, this person was probably, you were probably on the cast the moment you applied and they saw you for the first time. The thing with where she's talking to Rachel about how the nominations that she made were a bad idea, and she's got toilet paper sticking out of her pants, like a lot of toilet paper sticking out of her pants.
Yeah.
It's just the whole, like, and like the shower thing at the beginning of the season wasn't even the tip of the iceberg for
No,
this
no,
woman.
it really
She is
wasn't.
such a character. She is so funny and entertaining. And I haven't even been watching the show. I haven't even seen that much of Ashley. I've only really watched the Thursday episodes and get live feed updates. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't even know the extent to which Ashley is being this extremely entertaining person. But I'm a big fan of Ashley.
Yeah, I was just looking at the cast to see what I was thinking, and I guess right now Ashley is basically far and away my favorite contestant right now, because she really is so entertaining to watch. And I was thinking to myself, like, man, Ashley, I feel like she'd be cut out for some other reality show. I feel like she deserves to be on something else. And I was thinking, like, no, not Survivor, not The Amazing Race, not The Challenge, not any of those. Then I realized, like, she should just be on like one of those like stupid reality shows where you get a million people from different shows together, like a House of Villains or The GOAT. I would love to see Ashley interacting with random people from Bravo shows, and also like, I don't know, like Wendell from Survivor or something
Yeah,
like that.
like a
Just
Traders or
yeah.
like a Beast Games is apparently that's what that is
Well,
turning into.
yeah, I mean,
Have you
maybe.
have you seen the people who are on Beast Games this next season? There's a
I
lot
have
of
saw the
survivors.
people
A lot
who
of
were
survivors.
on Beast Games this season. I saw Sifu was on Beast Games
Oh,
this
and
last time.
and now it's Jesse Lopez, and it's a lot of Survivor 43. Jesse's on there. Noel
Wow.
and Sammy Leotti are on there. Sue from Survivor 47 is on there.
Wow.
Um,
We found the we found the Mr. Beast season of Survivor.
yeah,
Survivor 43. Wow.
that's yeah, hey,
Yeah. The more you know.
good
Um,
for them. They got something. They got to win.
But no, I really enjoy Ashley because
Yeah.
Ashley just feels like a walking contradiction.
Mhm.
Because when the season first started, and I just looked at the cast, and I really tried not to look at too much like pregame interview stuff or anything like that. Just like looking at pure bios, I was like, Ashley seems like she will be the most normal person on this season. I was really wrong. And I was like, okay, well, Ashley seems like she's going to be one of the most game savvy, smartest people on the season. And that's like, almost true, but it's also certainly not true because she has good reads, but she does not know how to she does not know how to use those reads well, nor does she know just how to communicate with people properly, it feels like. And
It
that's awesome.
it
I love that.
feels they're very different people, but it feels kind of like the rut that Carolyn from Survivor 44 and Traders 3 found herself in.
Yeah,
Of
kind of.
she and I think I do not think that Ashley has proven herself to be quite the player that Carolyn is, but I think one of the problems that Carolyn ran into so much is that she was almost always spot on about like what the call was in the Traders turret, in the Tika 3 alliance. Like, she knew what was going on, but she
Yeah.
just had such a hard time getting other people to take her seriously, and like it couldn't capitalize on that. And I think Ashley, that is who Ashley is calling to mind to me. I don't think Ashley is, and we didn't see everything with Carolyn as we were seeing everything with Ashley, but I think
Mm,
Ashley has a lot more, is swinging a lot, and she's hitting, but she is missing,
yeah.
and on some of those reads. But that is who has been called to mind to me with Ashley.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I was ready to totally disagree with you, but no, you brought up some very good points. I will say this that kind of separates an Ashley from a Carolyn for me, especially on the Traders 3. Carolyn, to me, as an audience member, felt very woe is me. I can't do anything. Nobody's listening to me. And Ashley, I feel like it just rolls off her back. Like she doesn't.
She has no idea that no one's listening to her.
Yeah, she doesn't. If she processes her misses, she just moves on to the next one. Like she
Yep,
would
she
be,
keeps swinging.
she would be a great MLB player. She would bat 200, but like she'd hit 9 home runs, and it'd be like, okay, I just move on to the next one. That's a baseball reference.
I got
So
that. I picked that
yeah,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So shouts out to Ashley. That being said, I don't know. I don't really see a path to her for the ends, like at this point. So
I
I don't know.
I think the nice thing about Big Brother and talking about like a path to the end for people like in Ashley is that I think, speaking of Big Brother 25, I think that Jag winning is proof that because of the format of Big Brother, you can be it does not matter how good you are at the game, you can
Yeah,
win.
that's true.
You
Yeah,
can be one of the worst players of all time, but if just the pieces fall in the right way for you and you win like 9 comps in a row, you can win the game. It doesn't
yeah.
matter if you're bad at it. And so that is something that is terrifying to think about when it comes to like a Riley, but it's amazing to think about when it comes to like an Ashley, because we're still in a world where Ashley could be winning this season.
Yeah, honestly, that's a really good point, especially when you think about also Taylor winning. It's kind of two different sides of the same coin in terms of perceptions for the first half of the game, or at least, how they're playing. Because, Taylor's on the block every season, and it's like, I don't think people really disrespected her, but also at the same time, she had this great speech and won and showed that, hey, perception is not always reality in Big Brother. And then Jag, who was just terrible strategically, he was good enough at comps and also was well liked enough so that it didn't really matter
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah,
Um,
it didn't matter that he was making horrible decisions every week because he was just going to be the one making the decisions next week. So he just got to get rid of everybody, and it didn't matter what order it happened in.
that's true. But I will say this: this is kind of my concern when it comes to anybody trying to make their speech at the end of Big Brother. Is that this season, maybe more than most other seasons of reality television I've seen, is so driven by egos. Like the
Mm-hmm.
egos are what is fueling the season. So if you go up and you're Ashley and you're like, I made decisions in this game and I catapulted votes, how many people are going to be like, I don't think so. Morgan, Keanu, maybe Vince, maybe Kelly. Honestly, who am I missing? Mickey. Um, and ironically, probably Rachel is going to be the one who's going to like understand that the most and won't that won't matter to her, despite her
It,
prior seasons.
it
So
it all I think would come down to who she's sitting next to, because like
yeah,
the I guess you didn't make it this far in Big Brother 2, but like I mean, Will
hmm,
had the worst jury speech of all time on a season where the jury wasn't sequestered and had been watching his confessionals, and he
yeah,
still eked out the win. He eked it out, but he eked out the win. And so, and then, of course, I'm not saying that, Ashley's playing a Dr. Will game, but just like it really just can come down to who you're sitting next to and how the
yeah,
pieces fall. And like anything can happen. Betting on jury votes is sometimes a very difficult thing to do as a viewer. But unlikely for Ashley, I guess. But case in point,
yeah.
loving Ashley, and I hope that her chance to win. Your feeds of something's happening. Your live feeds in the back.
Oh,
And I would love to see Ashley win or do well in the game. And I hope she stays around. At the very least, I hope she stays around for a very long time.
yeah. No, I totally agree. Let me fix these feeds. Okay, cool. Anyways, what I was saying is
Yes.
that's the interesting thing about this season is like to me, somebody I mean, the whole thing feels so centered around Mickey to me still. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really interesting because Ashley has been trying to play with Mickey this whole season and has been trying to work with her to some extent. And Mickey just doesn't buy it. She still doesn't buy it. She's still like, Ashley's a snake. Kind of like, I mean, we're gonna get to Mickey actually right now because
Oh
she's the next
hell
one
yeah,
up.
hell
Um,
yeah.
but to me, Mickey is like she's almost looking for a new Jimmy, a new ally to throw under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Because she keeps justifying to herself, like, oh yeah, no, Jimmy was totally the right move. So that just makes me worried for Ashley. As long as she keeps sticking to Mickey, I think that she's just gonna be, oh, she's with Mickey, she's gotta go eventually. So yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we can transition into Mickey with this. Where speaking of the devil, I think that the thing with Mickey is about like her scooping up these allies just to decide that they need to go, and then so she's just picking up allies so she has allies to get rid of. I think that we might be nearing the point where if both of them survive this week, which is not looking super likely, that like if Mickey won HOH next week and Morgan, like if Morgan survived somehow, I see a world where Morgan is up on the block just because that is exactly the thing that she should not be doing. So that's probably the thing that she's going to do. I mean, it's just so much of this season has been dictated where if you're trying to predict what decision somebody is going to make, just think of the thing they shouldn't do, and that's the thing they're going to do. And Nikki is a prime example of that with the Jimmy eviction on her HOH, where she makes a horrible decision. She gets set in her way, and then she spends so much time justifying the decision despite the mountain of evidence and the bad position that she's in now that came as a result of it.
The thing about Nikki is that like there's more precedent than to her like maybe putting somebody like Morgan on the block than just her putting Jimmy on the block, or even threatening to put Ashley on the block. Like there's way more. I think back to maybe like a week or two ago when Nikki was getting ready to just completely cut Morgan because like she didn't tell her about an alliance she was in that like wasn't real, and Nikki was like, I can't trust her. I have to pivot or something like that. And then it only took like hours of reconnaissance by Morgan for like the two of them to be close again. But even still, like they aren't as close as they were. They're still kind of at arm's length from one another. And in addition, Mickey seems to just like I feel like every week she's always evaluating her options, but she's always evaluating her options like, oh, it's better to go with this person than the person I'm currently with. And often that seems to be like, I want to go with Riley and Catherine instead of whoever is actually working with me, which is funny because we just stopped talking about Riley and now he would have nominated Nikki and Morgan and Ashley if he had kept the HOH that was taken from him by Nikki. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it becomes hard to follow at a point with
Nikki. No, it really does.
It is so it's just
it's
what
very
can you even say? We got to Mickey and I was so excited to talk about it. It's like what can I even say about Mickey's decision making and thought process? I don't like the way that she talks about people from a person perspective and from a viewer perspective. I wish that she would talk to people to their face or something, or like make like a moment out of it and not just like call Kelly a bad person and talk about how Kelly doesn't deserve to have a good birthday or something or whatever.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
So,
here's a pro tip for anybody going on reality television from somebody who's never been on reality television. So, make sure, if your mom goes on The Traitors, she should hear this. If you want to, be of faith or whatever, like that's totally cool. Like shouts out to Jesus Christ or whatever, but don't use that as a justification for getting rid of people, and don't use it as a justification for who is more deserving in the game, or really just don't do that in general. The spiritual nature of it doesn't even really matter, but the way Nikki does it is like she uses God as a weapon, and the only situation that's cool is in Survivor South Pacific, and everything else is like, okay, I'm not so sure about this. So
yeah, and definitely don't do it when you're using it as really your only justification for getting rid of your gay ally for no reason.
Yes.
Sort of old news at this week, and I'm sure it's been talked to death, but just like don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun in Big Brother, and by fun I mean kind of awful to see like 5 weeks in, like true colors of people start to show, and then you realize like, oh man, like I dislike 80% of these people, and most of the people who seemed cool, like Nikki seemed cool for like the first 3 weeks.
Nikki was my winner pick going into the season.
Morgan was my winner pick, and I was still trying to justify myself. Like Morgan's still cool for like the past for 2 weeks ago. But
what was the deal breaker? Was it when she took Zach's toothbrush out of the trash?
No, it was before that. It was pretty well before that, but it didn't help. We'll get to her eventually. But anyways, that's all to say that like Mickey has soured on everybody, but like I especially feel unhappy about it because Mickey's in a bad position, but I can also totally see the world where she gets back into power. Like I can see it. Like all it takes is her surviving this week. It doesn't even matter if Morgan goes home. Mickey wins HOH next week and just keeps doing what she's been doing, which is just strong arming people.
Yep.
And I think with some of the wishy washy players of the season, such as a Will or a Vince or I don't know, like I feel like even Riley and Catherine have been wishy washy in their own ways.
Oh, yeah.
Keanu, like I could see them being like, yeah, Mickey's in power, and she's saying we got to get rid of Rachel. Like I guess we got to get rid of Rachel. Like that's the only thing. I could see it happening.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yeah,
so.
I think which is, it's the like floater behavior where and not Mickey there, but the people responding to Mickey, where sometimes it pays to be an active strategic player, even if you're acting badly, because if you happen to be winning comps, which you better hope you are, if you're an active and bad strategic player, then when you do get in the position of power, if you just move confidently enough, people will get behind you, especially a house of other bad strategic players, where it comes to a certain point where the level of play matters so much less than just maintaining the power. And I hate to keep bringing up Big Brother 25. I really do apologize to the public for reminding them that the season of television took place, but it's just like Jag is the living example of that, where if you just, it doesn't matter how bad you are at the game and how bad your decision making is, if you're just maintaining the power, people will follow you and be scared to act against you, or in Jag's case, not have the chance to act against him. And then Bob's your uncle, and then you win $750,000.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. I'll tell you the mindset that's going on right now, and I'll do it by saying something that Rachel said to Kelly just a few days ago, which is she was talking to Kelly and she was like, "I want to bring you to the end. I want to do it." Did you see Survivor 22, the one that Boston Rob was on? And Kelly was like, "No, I don't know what happened." And she was like, "Well, Boston Rob took all these newbies to the end and like made sure to be like a leader to them and bring them to the end." And Kelly was like, "Oh, did he win?" And Rachel was like, I don't remember. And the reason why I bring that up is because that feels like the mindset that a lot of the people on the season have, is that of the people on the Zapatera tribe in Survivor Redemption Island, which is if I get dragged to the end, if I'm just a good ally to the person who's pushing all these things, then I will win in the end. And I will beat them because either people will be mad at them or somebody's surely going to take them out eventually.
It was actually the Obatepe tribe, Joey. But
okay, yeah,
but yeah,
I knew it was one of them. I couldn't remember.
Same season. Yes, and I think that mindset isn't always wrong, as we've seen before with like a lot of the time these returning players on mostly newbie seasons do have a hard time pulling out the end if they make, or pulling out the win if they make it to the end. You look at Coach in South Pacific, you look at Dan in Big Brother 14, you look at Stephanie LaGrossa in Guatemala. It's not always a slam dunk, even if that person was playing very well, because a lot of juries that consist of new people don't want the person who kind of barged in on their season to be the winner for it. And I think I'm very much picking up that vibe as it pertains to the attitude to Rachel. And we will get to that, where I totally see, even though Rachel is in very hot water in this cast for the most part, does not want her here, even the people who should want her here. I do think that if Rachel gets to the end against really anybody, she's going to have a very uphill battle in winning the game, just because the attitude is so posed against her for pretty much no reason.
Yeah, I'll just speak on this before we get back to Mickey or whatever, because that is a good point. And this is something I've basically been saying the whole season, but I think is only getting more and more true with time, is that from the moment Rachel walked into the house, she was like, you can take me to the end because I'm not going to win. Like nobody's going to award me, $750,000. And, I've already played. I mean, like I can be a guide to you, but like, there's no way I'll win. And I feel like that's kind of become a self-fulfilling prophecy for her, which is the more she said that to people, the more it gets talked around, and the more people like Mickey are saying, well, yeah, I mean, like, obviously, like, Rachel's never going to win, but I mean, she still shouldn't get there. It's like both Rachel's in the worst of both camps right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is just like which is so weird, especially from I guess I actually no, I guess because I was gonna say that it was a point of uh like contradiction on Mickey's part, but no, Mickey is firmly in the camp of let's just get rid of Rachel, and a lot of people are firmly in the camp of let's get rid of Rachel. It's the thing is that like, and you know, even though this is my first time watching Rachel on television, to be honest, I
Oh, wow.
still I have an admiration for her, and I appreciate the status that she has. I knew who she was, of course, coming into the season, and
Mhm.
she's clearly a legend of not only Big Brother but just reality television.
Yeah.
So I'm biased here in saying this, but a lot of the people in the house should want to be sitting next to Rachel in the final two. They should be playing for that end game,
Yeah.
and nobody, very few people, I would say, are.
It's funny getting back to Mickey in relation to this, because Mickey is one of the basically has the attitude that is contradictory, in the sense that she is saying like, yeah, let's get rid of Rachel as soon as possible, and like it feels like half the people on the cast are saying that and have been saying that from the start, but it just hasn't happened yet, which speaks to Rachel being a good player, at least better than everybody else. But Mickey is also saying like, but she's never gonna win anyways, which you would think that like you don't want to get rid of somebody who's never gonna win.
She's almost there. She's
Mhm.
so close. And I think if I think if you know, maybe that will become a self-fulfilling prophecy as well, where if Mickey just says that to enough people, more people will start catching on to like, you know, everybody wants Rachel gone, but also everybody's telling me that they would never vote for Rachel if they made it to the end. So what if I just didn't get rid of her? I
I'll
have to think somebody's gonna realize that.
I'll tell you one person who I think's realized that is Keanu, which is really
Mm-hmm.
funny because Keanu was saying just yesterday, he was saying something to the effect of, "Yeah, at the final three, I'm gonna say to Riley, he's gonna bring Riley to the final three. He's gonna be like, you know, Riley, you're the greatest guy I've ever met, but I'm taking Rachel to the end," and like that's funny.
That's the final three he's playing for. I'm
That's
glad Rachel's in it, but I didn't know he's playing. He's playing for a final three with Rachel Riley and Riley last name. All right,
yeah. I
yeah. I mean, hey, a Keanu and Rachel final two, I think, is the the thing that like the blessed timeline, the best
yes.
timeline for this season is the Keanu and Rachel final two, which I have to say Keanu probably handily wins that.
I I don't know. I honestly think it's about split because I think Keanu should win, but can you imagine Keanu trying to answer questions about his game, and like he would be like, yeah, no, the Jimmy move, I did that. Yeah, no, I did that. Or whatever. You
Oh
just
yeah, yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
yeah, no, no, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
no, I did that. Yeah, yeah. What are you talking about? What are you saying? Yeah, I did that. Yeah, what are you talking about? Um,
but he won't be answering the questions to Rachel, so no one's even gonna realize how dumb he sounds because
yeah.
Rachel's the only one who talks to him and realizes, oh my god, what is coming out of this guy's mouth?
Which is funny because I think everybody knows that he's like not good at Big Brother, but I think only really it just accounts of Rachel in general this season of being able to just like see past what everybody is doing. She's seen
Mm-hmm.
past Vince the entire season.
Yep.
She's seen past Mickey and Morgan. She's seen past Keanu certainly.
Mm-hmm.
She saw past Jimmy to some extent, even though they became friends at the end. But nobody else can do that at all. The closest is probably Ashley, and as you said, like Carolyn, she's not been able to properly get those thoughts across to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's the thing about this cast, and that's the thing about Mickey specifically. Nobody in this cast listens to each other.
Oh
Like
yeah.
like nobody. funnily enough, I would say the person that probably like is able to bend to people's will the best in the house is Catherine, because she's been doing that the entire season with Riley, and it's gotten her in a pretty good position in the game. Even though I'm 99.5% sure that she absolutely hates everything about what's going on with her life right now. But you know,
Get that bag, sister.
exactly,
I would
exactly.
also, we'll get back to the graphic here.
Hmm.
But I do want to say, in response to that, I think another person who is a very good listener is Will.
That's true. Yeah.
He like if Will wins the game, it will be the story of a guy who just sat there and listened to everybody complain about everything,
Yep.
and as they all tore each other apart, they fell in love with Will, and he never went home, and then he walked out $750,000 richer. Is a trajectory I can totally see for Will. But before we get too deep in that, who's next on this graphic, Joey?
Next
I have
up,
to blow my
before
nose.
sure, go ahead.
Hang on,
Next
this
up,
is for you, but
okay, great. I will say in that case that the next person up will be Ava, and to me, Ava is an interesting case because Ava sort of falls in line with what we were just saying, which is like she's a good player, but I feel like she doesn't really listen to people anymore. Ava doesn't. She just, especially during her last HOH, she was like, I put the people up. It was, you do it. And when everybody was like, "Hey, who would you vote out in the tie?" She was like, I don't care. Which I
who cares?
respect. I think that's awesome, and I'm glad that she did that. But I don't think it helped her game necessarily.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ava, I love Ava. I'm a very big Ava stan. I was so excited for her coming into the season, but I didn't really have high hopes for her game wise. And
Hmm.
even though there are definite flaws in the game that Ava is playing, there's so much bigger flaws in the games that everybody else is playing that I actually have very high hopes now for Ava's trajectory in the game. Specifically her like bond with Will, I think is something
Yeah,
that could prove to be very beneficial because they seem like two of the only people who are like really really locked in and that I don't believe would just turn on each other for no reason. And so but yes, Ava is definitely not exempt from the sloppiness of this cast in
no,
general, especially when it comes to like her. I've seen a lot of like her talking of she really does not like Ashley is what I'm trying to get at,
yeah. She
which
really doesn't like Ashley. Like
it,
dropping f bombs
oh
type
yeah,
anger, which is
yeah,
funny because Ava doesn't seem like she always has like this flower in her hair, and like
mhm,
she's always about 60s, like peace and love or whatever. Shouts out Ringo Starr.
mhm.
So like I didn't really like think that, oh yeah, no, she's gonna get pissed off at people.
Oh,
Like that kind of
no.
surprised me. But I guess it is Big Brother. So
And now Joey, have you ever met a woman from the East Coast?
that's okay, fair enough. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah,
So this is
fair enough.
really I you know I was in a long term relationship with a woman from New Jersey, and
Mhm.
they've got fire in them.
Yep. Yeah.
And this so personally I saw this coming from Ava. I'm glad to see it. I think it is totally pointed at the wrong person, and she has way bigger fish to be frying than Ashley, and she
Hmm.
really does not need to be making an enemy of Ashley right now because they are kind of in the same boat where they're ending up on the like not in the Vince camp sort of deal. And I think that she is barking up the wrong tree, but the barking does not does not surprise me
Okay. Yeah.
from Ava here.
That's fair enough. I was not thinking about where she was from when I was thinking about that.
Mhm.
Honestly, for most people, I don't really know where they're from. I think Will's from. No, I'm not even gonna try.
I have no clue where Will's from.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know where anybody's from. I think Ashley's from Atlanta. Because I think she said
I think
that.
Ashley presently lives in New York, but I don't know if she's from there.
Okay,
If I'm
and no,
not
Mickey's
mistaken.
from Atlanta. Mickey's from
Mickey's from
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and Rachel is in Alabama, so I knew that. But anyways, that's all to say. Ava to me is interesting because I do think she's of non Riley Catherine people is probably the best positioned in the game because like who's gonna put her up if they win HOH next week? Maybe Vince because Vince is like mad and angry and sad all the time. Um, maybe I guess, but
I
I don't
would
think.
Joey, I would love to see another Vince HOH. I would love to see his gears get completely fried and have him nominate. Like, he'd probably put Lauren on the block.
He would probably ask Kelly to volunteer for the block again. He would probably ask Kelly to volunteer for the block again.
And no, actually, he probably wouldn't even get the chance to, because the moment that he won HOH, the moment Kelly had a moment alone with him, she would say, "If you need to put me up, do it."
Yeah. Anyways, Ava's interesting because she kind of reminds me of like, I'm gonna go back to Big Brother 25 because we just keep talking about it. But
There's so much to go back to there.
She reminds me of like a position that maybe like Felicia was in, or maybe even Sari, where it's like these are pretty strong social players who people seem to like. I guess it's more Sari than Felicia, but strong social player people seem to like and has a good read on the game, at least certainly compared to most other people in the game. But like, what's going to happen once we get to Final Six? Because like I know she won the HOH last week, but she's not winning competition. You can't bank on her winning competitions.
Yeah.
So like, what's going to happen to her game? I feel like she's going to like, I don't know if flame out's the right word, but I do think like at some point there just won't be a path forward in the game anymore unless Will starts winning competitions too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I think the comparison that comes the worry that comes to mind for me with Ava and Will, who I would say I am rooting for them. But the worry that comes to mind with me is that they might end up in like from Big Brother 26, like a T-Core Rubina and Chemo spot.
Yeah.
Where early on in the game, like, this was a tight alliance that was really well positioned. They had a lot of really good like thoughts about what was going on, and but they weren't active players. And I guess Chemo spent a lot of time on the block, but either way, nobody ever really wanted him to go home. I'm getting ahead of myself. They just never pulled the trigger on anything. And it was just a lot of talking about stuff. And then you had a very active player in the house, like a Chelsea, who could come along and take advantage of that, get way 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of them, and then it's too late for them to do anything about it. And I can totally see that happening to like an Ava and a Will, where, Will's like very active listening is a strength, and I think Ava having a little bit more of a strategic level head than most of the cast is a strength. But if the two of them just kind of sit on their hands for too long, a Mickey or a Vince is going to get steps ahead of them, and then they won't be able to catch up.
Yeah, that's a great point. And once again, this goes back to what I was saying about Mickey, which is like I can still see her strong arming her way through the game, because who is the person in this house who is constantly 4 or 5 steps ahead of everybody, who says to everybody, yeah, this is who I plan to bring to the end, and just like says that to people? It's Mickey. Like she, if nothing else, like she is strategically in an odd place and isn't very good at it right now, but she has a strategy and she has a plan. And I feel like Ava and Will, they don't really have long-term plans, like especially not Will. So I don't know. Speaking of Will,
is he next? Nice.
Yeah, he's next. What do you have to say about him, if anything else?
I love Will. I guess I've already touched on my love about Will's game. I've also touched on my worry about Will's game. So what I will touch on is more of the Will as the character, which is that it is so I kind of was worried when I saw Will on the cast of like, okay, this is our guy who is older than the rest of the cast. The past few seasons, I really have not been able to stand the person that they put in this spot, and they don't do well in the game. And Will has completely blown that out of the water. Will is probably the most like pleasant person in the house. He's such a good dude, at least from what I have seen. He's just a cool guy, and I love him. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, Will. The thing about Will is there's nothing that you could say is bad about Will. Like everybody's cool with him. He's a nice guy, and frankly, I think his like lack of being able to like connect on a deeper level with quite a few of the contestants has actually helped him in a weird way, because like nobody has a reason to really go against him. He's kind of an emotional player, but he's also like somewhat strategic. Like he's emotional and voting to keep Zach last week, but like oh, that's just Will sort of way. Like
Yeah,
he's going to
he
be
gets away with it.
overlooked. He's going to be overlooked for a long time, and if he goes on the block, I don't think anybody will really want him to go home,
Yeah.
unless it's to weaken, I don't know, like Ava or something,
Yeah,
or
or
Ash.
Weekend
I don't.
Rachel.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I don't know. It would be a weird spot regardless. So
Like I could see if like he's on him, like him, Ava, and Rachel are on the block, and Rachel's the target, and Rachel wins a blockbuster. Like I could see Will being in a lot of trouble.
yeah,
But other than that, like I don't see any time soon where anybody is like, yeah, here are my nominations. Will is one of them, and also he's the person I'm trying to make sure goes home this week. But I could totally see him down the line getting just sniped in a double.
that's true. Yeah, I mean, once again, it is kind of the same problem that Ava has, which is like well positioned, well liked. What are you going to do at the end of the game?
Yeah.
Um, and that's not to say I could see Will in the final two, honestly, before I could see Ava in one, because I
Yeah.
just feel like Ava is well liked enough and has the story. And Will, if nothing else, has been a very passive player and hasn't had the HOH. And I feel like people recognize that. I feel like they recognize that he's almost kind of a bit player in this household right now. And a lot of people, some people really see Ava as that too, as like, oh, she's just here because she's here. Who
Yeah.
am I doing an impression of there? But you know,
Riley
it's
again.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, if Ava gets there, people are going to be like, "Oh, she's got a flower in her hair. She's quirky and unique and made it work. I'll give her $750,000 against Kelly or whatever."
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really have that much else to say about Will, though. Honestly, I
Yeah.
don't really know.
I like
Really,
him, and I hope he amps it up once the whenever he deems it necessary.
yeah, yeah. Next up is Morgan, and
Mm.
I have a lot of thoughts about Morgan. I realized that we never also talked about Mickey and now Morgan being on the block this week, which is something that is happening because Rachel's
Yeah.
HOH. So we could talk about that, I guess, because one of the two of them is likely going to be the person going home.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, in my mind, I've already decided that, yeah, it's probably going to be Morgan. I don't know why. Just like, I
It
feel
does
like
kind
it's
of
going to be
have that.
Morgan.
This feels like this is the week where she goes out. She needs to go be with Zach.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she's already spending time with his toothbrush. I think she wants to be with the man too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad because Morgan was my winner pick. Like I said before, I had high hopes for her for a while, but she is just she's worse than the player that she should be, to put it simply. Like she was there for a while, she was where my expectations were, and then this guy named Zach just like stood around with his shirt off, and then she just like went down a cliff, and I think she's been spiraling ever since. So yeah.
You know, what can you say? Sometimes people go on Big Brother to have a shot at $750,000 and really play to take home the money, and sometimes people go on Big Brother to use it as like Tinder
Yeah,
and
I
to
mean,
like look at Zach.
I was talking about this with Bobby last week. I asked her, like, has anybody who's ever gone into the show saying, I want to be in a showmance, I want to find love on Big Brother, have any of them actually like done well? Like on average, do those players do well? And I think she said, and I mean, it's a simple assumption that like makes sense, is like, no, if you go on Big Brother looking for love, you're gonna not do well because you're not focused on the game. And I think that's kind of the problem Morgan has found herself in, is that she wanted her cake and she wanted to eat it too, of like, I want to do well on Big Brother and prove how smart I am. But also I wouldn't mind finding a man. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, all right, the only person who can do that is Catherine, apparently.
Yeah.
No, not really. But yeah.
I think it's a matter of like it's just like following down the whole like going on Big Brother for love is that a lot of people who do go on Big Brother and not even like necessarily looking for love, people go on Big Brother to go on a show,
Yeah.
not to play a game. They are there to go on the show, and that mindset that is common among the casting for Big Brother um, leads to these really weird quasi players who are like nearly non-factors in the game, despite being relevant to the events that are unfolding, like being on the block, being in a duo with one of the more active strategic disasters, buddying up with trying
Yeah.
chasing after Zach and not unsuccessfully. And so that is Morgan is fulfilling the experience of going on the show. She's an active participant in the show, and the game is totally passing her by.
That's a great point. And it's a great point that you made about like these people would go on any show. I was just thinking like, what is the most menial, like nothing reality show out there? If Netflix's Battle Camp called these people up and was like, hey, do you want to go on the show? Or like Buddy Games season 2 or something like that. How
We
many
need
of these
that.
people would say yes? And I think like 2/3 of them probably would. I think the exceptions are like maybe Mickey, Lauren probably. Um, uh, Amy, I guess.
I don't think
Uh,
Ashley would have gone. I think Ashley
yeah,
was
maybe
trying
yeah,
to go on Big Brother.
Ashley. So
um,
that's 4 people.
yeah,
And I think that really speaks to maybe the season, as I feel like everybody sort of wants to craft their own storyline in a sense, and I think Morgan's kind of included in that. Um, at least she wants to craft the storyline of me and Zach are going to fall in love. And now that he's gone, I think she's sort of spiraled even more. But I mean, that applies to everybody. I think Mickey wants to be the ethical, like warrior of, smartness or whatever. Uh, you know.
Morgan and Mickey should have waited for the civilian traitors announcement. They would have been
Yeah.
delusional faithfuls, and everybody would have loved them.
Yeah, but like Zach, he wanted his storyline to be I fall in love with Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Keanu's is I'm a mastermind and I'm the smartest person of all time. Vince's I'm an introverted super fan, but I'm gonna get to the top and I'm gonna win or something. Kelly is I'm Tucker. Have you heard of this guy Tucker? I'm him. Adrian was I'm a comp piece and I'm so good at everything. He wasn't. Riley is I'm on Love Island. I'm just on Tinder.
Right.
Jimmy is I'm quote unquote good TV. He was good TV, but
He
I'm good
was.
TV. And then Rachel is I'm Rachel Riley. So like most people are just like here to do their own thing, but it's also like there's a game being played at the same time. So
Yeah,
I don't
which
know.
I think is mostly most of the time that is kind of what happens with Big Brother, and I think that is a
That's true.
consequence of
Good point.
like the non-fan casting of that Big Brother leans heavily into, and like not to make it about Survivor, but just to make it about Survivor for a second,
Sure, sure.
because I love standing on my soapbox about this. Well, a very common complaint about like new era Survivor is like, oh, it's all like super fans. Like, I got an idea. What if they did a season of the show where no one had ever seen Survivor? And it's like, watch any season of Big Brother,
Yeah.
and that's what you would get. You would get people making faith-based decisions. You'd get people taking people's toothbrush out of the trash after they leave. You would get people making an alliance of the good people, and that if you win, it's like I won.
Yeah.
That's
I
about
was
what it
talking
is.
about this with, I think, Noah a few weeks ago about this very concept of like that separates Survivor from Big Brother is like, not only is Big Brother way more, just like people who don't know TV, it's people who are still like, I don't know, they're not willing to conform, which is funny because a lot of people on this cast are willing to conform, but they're not really willing to conform their own like personalities and their own weird quirks, to put it mildly. Which I think is interesting. That's one of the things that I do like about Big Brother is that it is a refreshing change from Survivor. Like Big Brother and Survivor are not the same thing, like at all. It feels that way. They're so close to being the same thing, but the differences are so big that like it's just so different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a Survivor super fan. I have thought so many times about like, okay, what would I do in this situation? How would I do here? How would I base my game? What would I do? I have no idea what I do in Big Brother because it's just different. Like I would feel like I would have to live a lie and just
You know what I would do on Big Brother? Not
tell them.
nominate my allies.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough. But I guess apparently that's easier said than done, is what I'm hearing. So
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
rumor has it.
Yeah. Um. Anyways, Morgan.
Anyways,
Goodness, she's become pretty weird. I don't think she was always this weird, but she's just so weird about the Zach thing. That's part of the isolation of Big Brother. I remember Matt was, oh my God, BB25 again. Matt was doing the same thing with whatever her name was, who went out week 2.
Riley.
Was that her name?
Riley,
Riley?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
God.
The blonde girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Riley. Yeah.
Yeah, and Matt was like, "We're doing it for Riley. We're
Oh
doing
yeah,
it for her."
what was his he wanted to name the alliance like Riley's Angels or something.
Oh yeah. Oh God. BB25. Yeah, gross. Get it out of my mouth. Wash my mouth with soap.
Yeah.
Anyways, like that's something that happens on Big Brother that I don't think really happens on Survivor. And not unless you're Aussie on Survivor Micronesia. Are you like, pining for a girl after she's
Hit the
gone?
shit on my mic, Jesus. Yeah.
But
yeah, it doesn't happen. At least not that much anymore. And that is something that I like about Survivor. But the point being that they are two different shows. They serve two different purposes, and the purpose all the way through to the casting of the show, where the purpose is of what they're trying to achieve with the program is just completely different. And I don't always really like that about Big Brother. It kind of, I wish that the show would use more care in the people that they put on the show. Not from both like a perspective of like finding people who aren't total fucking freaks in a bad way, Riley. And also from a matter of just finding people who care about, who want to be there, who want to, pull it off, who care about the thing that they are doing, for a reason beyond the fact that it's a television show. Because I think they're like, the formula of Big Brother is just so magic, and it refuses to take itself seriously at times when it should, and it doesn't give itself as much credit as it should, and that makes it hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah, no, Big Brother as a show is just so much more gimmicky. And I'm not even talking about like we're in a hotel this season or whatever, or there's an evil guy, a mastermind who's controlling everything or whatever. I mean, like in terms of casting, like they cast people purely for their professions. Like I feel like they cast Riley because he's a bull rider who wears cowboy hats. And they casted Ava maybe because she is a self-described aura painter. And what does that mean? We casted Morgan because she's a Twitch streamer, young people, right?
We cast Vince because he's unemployed.
Yeah, I mean, we cast Kelly. She's from a town of 60 people or whatever. That's interesting. That's cool. And meanwhile, somebody like Amy, who is a BB super fan and is like, I watch this show every night with my family or whatever, is like, okay, like she has to earn her place in the game though. Like this mom of 3, like, okay, whatever. She has to press a button and like,
yeah, you have to press a button and not get picked arbitrarily you have to not act sus for the first 4 hours of the game, and then you get to play.
Yeah, it's totally different from Survivor. And once again, I don't necessarily dislike that. But it does lead to situations like, okay, now we have Riley on the show and we can't get rid of him.
Yeah.
And he's in a good position.
We have to watch him
mumble,
torment this woman.
mumble disgusting nothings to this woman who we'll get to Catherine eventually, but oh my God, I feel so bad for her. Anyways, anything else on Morgan? Any thoughts?
God, that's what we were talking about. Jesus.
Yeah.
I think it is telling of Morgan that when it was our turn to talk about Morgan, we talked about the
Everyone
philosophy
else.
of Big Brother, and if the production of Big Brother is really truly putting in the effort to make the show the best that it can be. We went beyond Morgan and went to the full top level of the philosophy of the show. That is telling enough for me about Morgan.
By the way, do you know Morgan's a Twitch streamer? Do you know what she streams on Twitch?
I don't remember, but I know I used to know. What is it?
Take a guess. Take a guess.
Oh my god,
It's
wasn't
a
it
big
like
game. Yeah.
it's a big game?
Yeah.
Is it a Oh my god, I swear I used to know. Is it like it's not like Sims, is it?
No, no.
What
She
is it?
streams GTA 5 online. That's like
Oh,
all
yes,
she
yes, yes,
streams.
yes. So
Which
it's like the GTA roleplay, right?
I I
RP
I
servers?
yeah, I think so. I haven't watched, but
Oh, you don't tune in?
no, I don't. I mean, that's what BB Twitch Archives is for. That's not
It's
for me. Um, but yeah, Morgan, I don't know. She's probably gone this week, and she
It's
deserves
probably
it.
gone this week. Yep.
Maybe Mickey goes instead. I kind of would prefer to see Morgan go at this point. I don't really need to see her like crying over Zach's bracelet or whatever,
Yeah.
or whatever
I
she's doing.
How
So
long do we have until jury starts?
I think it's 2 weeks.
Because they've kind of been are they sticking with the 7-person jury? I can't remember. I'm not
I don't
super
think
fan enough about Big Brother to know what the jury. I know it will either start at 9 or 11.
Yeah, I don't think
What are we at now?
there's been any official word. I mean, let me just count the people. Da 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 da.
Oh, 2 hands.
Yeah, duh, duh. All right, we're at 11 right now. So there is a chance that it
Okay, so
starts this week, but
I
I
think we'd
don't
know. I think we would know now. So it's probably going to start
at
at
9.
9, and we're going to
Yeah.
have a 7-person
So
jury.
yeah, so there's 2 weeks.
I would like, even though Morgan, especially without Mickey, like it's just like, what are you even doing here? But I would like to see Mickey go because I am think about all the good content for the slop if Mickey is out of the house
That's true.
and not in sequester.
It is kind of like, what poison would you rather pick? Would you rather pick the poison of Mickey of like, this person is very, very actively playing the game, but also she just like is rude to everybody and is on this moral high horse? Or would you rather see Morgan, who's also kind of those things, but is, also crying all the time over a guy who didn't like her back? Like,
Yeah.
which would you rather have? And honestly, I'd probably rather have Morgan in some sense, but I don't know. I think the game would be more dynamic with Mickey still in the game.
Yes, she's a far bigger wrench in the strategy of but it would still do my heart well to see her go home.
Yeah, the way I feel is like Morgan is increasingly going to make herself more and more of a bit player in the game the longer things go. I feel like she's already kind of faded to the background for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Even though she's on the block right now and could very well go home. Like the Morgan is not nearly as firm in her beliefs or like even really caring about the game as much as she was in the beginning. So, I don't think she would be that upset to go home, honestly. So,
Still doesn't want a
anyways.
competition.
Nope, still is not. Still very upset about that. Somebody who has definitely won competitions is Keanu, who's up next.
Yes, Keanu has won some competitions.
What do you think about Keanu?
God, what a fucking another one up there with Ashley of it is immediately apparent how this person got on the show. This person carries themselves in a way that is crazy, and it just goes about conversation and decision making in a way that is exactly what you're looking for when you're putting somebody on television. And it has been a treat. He played a very big part in the very big Thursday of getting us. The last we'd heard on the live feeds was that Keanu was going to throw the blockbuster, at which point he certainly would have been evicted.
Yeah.
And then just seemed a little bit like he was throwing it during the blockbuster, but then by God, thank the Lord, put his hand on the buzzer. He made a faith-based decision and stayed in the game. Got Zach evicted. Thank God. So I've just been on the edge of my seat watching Keanu play Big Brother.
I've said it seemingly every week, but I need to repeat it every time because it just gets more and more true. Keanu has to be on the challenge. He just has to.
Oh.
He was made for it. So is Morgan. Morgan was also made it. And honestly, maybe after Zach's mistake, he should also be on the challenge. Like, get all these people on the challenge. That's the show that they were meant to apply to, and that's the show they were meant to go on. But alas, they are here on Big Brother instead.
Alas.
But they're here instead, and now we're watching it. And Keanu is I mean, he's entertainment. He brings so much life to the season.
Oh
He,
yeah.
in his own way, is like the Tucker of this season. Like Kelly wants to be the Tucker, but Keanu has found his way into that position by just like constantly making insane decisions and still getting away with it by just winning the blockbuster in the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
And I think is in a way that it wouldn't hurt me as God, I'm gonna keep going back to 25. I think he has Jag upside in like probably even more so than Jag does, where
Yeah,
he's one of the few people in the house that you is a pretty safe bet to win any of the competitions that he's playing in. Hasn't won an HOH yet, but he's proven himself in the veto in the blockbuster and is, a force to be reckoned with in the comps and could just totally win out in the last few weeks. And then insane decision after insane decision doesn't even matter because he's just safe. And then Keanu is the winner of the season. And
yeah.
that's what this cast deserves, I think, is Keanu being the representative of Big Brother 27.
The thing also, I like the point you made. He has more upside than Jag does because first of all, he hasn't been evicted yet. But second of all, like Keanu's so close to kind of getting it. He's
Mm-hmm.
so close because at this point he knows that like okay, yeah, I should probably work with Rachel, something we've already talked as being a good idea. And he like understands that he should have somebody like Kelly on his side too and some of these other players. But he also like I think he still wants Vince to be his number one ally, even though he knows it's like not a good idea. He still really wants to keep Vince
Mm-hmm.
long term. Uh, Now that being said, if Vince keeps getting nominated, that problem might take care of itself. But
Yes.
still, it's. I think Keanu wants to bro down, but is slowly realizing that that's less and less of an option.
Running
So
out of bros.
exactly,
Thank
Vince is the
God.
bro he has to go to because God, who else? I mean, it's either him or Riley. I think are those the only two? Oh, and Will, I guess.
Zach and Zay and Adrian are all gone.
Hmm.
So that was like most of his bro picking.
Yeah. So it's odd. It's an odd situation Keanu's found himself in, but in its own way, like I have as much faith in him as most players in the game in some weird way. Like I have a confidence he will fall his way upwards for a while longer
Oh
than
yeah.
this.
Yeah, I'm so excited for the inevitable Keanu HOH.
Yeah.
And it will probably be the worst HOH of the season.
Oh, that's saying a lot.
And I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Except for the fact that if the worst HOH of the season coming from Keanu, that probably means that it would be him evicting Rachel, but which I don't want. But still, I just want to see how he handles that. Like it would. I'm so excited for that to happen, and it probably will. And this alongside, and we'll get to this person also, but alongside, I kind of feel that way about a Kelly HOH also,
mhm.
where I
Yeah.
need it. I need it.
Yeah, I need Keanu to stay in this game a while longer. Basically, him staying in this game is what is going to keep me doing this podcast at
Yep.
this present moment in time.
Oh yeah.
It is if Keanu stays in the game slash if Riley goes home like immediately, like right now, like that will keep me wanting to do this podcast. I think, and will keep life in this Big Brother 27 game.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
there you go. That's Keanu. That is a person who has done a lot so far in this season. And then we have Lauren, who has probably done less. What are your thoughts on Lauren?
I think Lauren has as many DRs as Keanu does comp wins. And my thoughts on Lauren. What I would like
Mhm.
to know, Joey, because I don't actually know this. I'm not caught up on this little aspect of the strategy, this very big aspect. Is Lauren presently planning to use the veto on Vince?
I don't think so. I don't think she is, but I don't. I also don't know for sure. I listened to the live feed update like right before I came on, so I don't know if things have changed, but that is the impression that I got.
And
But it could be wrong. So
also the impression that I'm under. I was thinking that was where she was leaning, but I wasn't fully caught up. And the other aspect of this, she definitely should, right?
I don't know because like I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know, man. I don't know. That I really have nothing else to say. I don't know
One
if
of
it
the
is.
only things I know about Lauren, uh, now that Zach is gone, actually, the only thing I know about Lauren strategically is that she wants to work with Vince. And her taking Vince off of the block on Rachel's HOH is really the only way to guarantee that that stays the case and that she is kind of gets to the spot as Vince's like number one ally is if
Yeah,
and I could totally see a world where Vince takes it super personally from Lauren if she doesn't use it on him. And then Lauren has nothing.
yeah, that's true. That no, that's a very good point. I mean, I think the justification I was seeing of like why Lauren wouldn't want to use it is like if Vince gets to if Vince is taken off the block, then one of her other allies is just going to go up by Rachel's hands, like maybe an Ava or somebody like that. But I don't know.
But
Or Ashley. It was Ashley. Yeah.
I feel like Ashley is like Ashley going up on the block is worse for Rachel than it is for Lauren, surely.
Yeah,
And I
I
guess
agree with
Ashley
that.
and Rachel kind of got into a little bit of a fight and aren't on. Maybe I don't know how that concluded, if how what terms they're on now, but I know they had like Ashley was not happy about the nominations.
Mhm.
But like Lauren was the renom option in the event that one of the three people won the veto, and this would throw a wrench at Rachel. And I think that given the side of the house that Lauren is on, given the fact that she's working closely with Vince, like that she should be throwing that wrench at Rachel.
No, that's a really good point. And yeah, now I agree with you. I've seen the vision. Dot dot dot. I will say this.
Mhm.
Expecting Lauren to want to do a big move is kind of the opposite of what we've seen
Yes.
from her this season. So that
Which is
is asking a
disappointing
lot.
given the fact that she's the super fan here.
Yeah, it is weird how like the super fans like Lauren and Amy, they both sort of bended to the will of other people in the house, as has everybody who's not and then the people who are not super fans have sort of been the more vocal ones, though. I guess it's only about half of them.
I
So yeah.
I wonder if it is kind of an age thing with Amy being one of the older people in the house and Lauren being one of the younger people in the house,
Okay.
where we see this a lot where I feel like that maybe it's a pattern that I'm making up, but I just feel like the younger and the youngest couple and oldest couple players on a season of Big Brother or Survivor have a harder time being active, decisive players because it's just harder for them to connect when you're not in the median age group. Um, and for the younger side of things, you're not like a fully developed brain yet
Yeah.
for a lot of people. And you don't have as much life experience. So you're just not as confident in the moves that you're making, especially
Yeah.
when the people that you're working with are older than you.
I think it even goes beyond that. And this is something that I saw a lot during Lauren's HOH, which is I think, especially if you're younger, and maybe to an extent if you're older, like the median age group just doesn't like respect you as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like people were saying to Lauren's HOH, which boy, that was a bad decision where was that HOH, but that's like been forgotten in the slew of all the other bad things.
Yeah, we don't
Um,
have time to get through all that. That was
But anyways, people weren't like saying, "Oh man, Lauren, like why would she do that?" They were saying, "Vince, why would he get in her ear to make her make those decisions?" Like they were blaming somebody else for Lauren's HOH. And I think that same thing is sort of followed and Amy to some extent, where it's like people just don't respect them as game players as much, and Rachel as well. Like people see Rachel as this mastermind, but they also don't respect her opinions and thoughts on things. So
yeah.
yeah, it's weird, but
Yeah. Hard spot to be in. We see people overcome it all the time though, so I'm not going to give too much of my sympathies to Lauren, especially because she is one of the people who knows the game better.
yeah, Lauren is a strong. She's going to be the final six boot. I'm calling it now. That's how I felt basically this whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to VB25 once again, what I've been saying this entire season is she reminds me of the position that America was in for such a long time in that season, which is like she's just kind of here, and it feels like she was put on the show by the producers to get into a showmance. Like that's what they wanted. once again, talking about the casting, they're not casting people to be Big Brother superfans. They're casting people for what they are. And they casted Lauren for being this young bridal consultant who is single, is what
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah,
So,
probably. And she just happened to like the show, which was like a plus, and that was probably how she applied and how casting found her, and that was the extent of how far that got her in the casting process. And it was
yeah.
single, attractive, young, successful woman.
Yeah. And there you go. So I don't think Lauren really has much of a chance to win unless she does what you say and does something, but I haven't seen reason to think that she will yet. So I don't know.
Indecisive, so it's perhaps foolish of me to even suggest that Lauren should commit to an ally.
That's true. Well, there you go. All right. Speaking of somebody who won't commit to an ally, let's talk about Vince. Um, one of the players of this season, I guess.
Yeah.
But what do you think about him?
I think that he has no business to have as high of a win equity right now as he probably does. And I think it's just because he's one of the more likable people in the house, and he's a decent socially in the house.
Yeah.
I think,
I mean, decent is good in this house. Like
yeah.
he's decent socially.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that Vince needs to just ride that. And I think where it could all come crashing down for Vince is if he wins HOH ever again.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good point because then he'll have to make decisions, which we already saw he does not do good at that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny because yeah, Vince is in one of the better positions in the game in his weird way, where I think he might just keep getting nominated, but I don't think he's gonna go home.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think about this HOH. This HOH for Rachel is like, oh man, she's finally gonna take a shot at the person she's wanted out of this game the whole time. In Vince, she's been saying, let's get rid of Vince for weeks now, and he's finally on the block. The Vita's probably not going to be used on him, and he's not going to go home
Yep.
in like any situation. So
she's not. Yeah, it's the numbers aren't really there to get rid of Vince, and it's still, as pertains to Rachel's game, it is still, of course, a benefit for either one of Mickey or Morgan going home, to be going home here, as like these are the three people who were probably her working hardest against her. Except Morgan, I guess, wasn't working hard against her. She was just She was just not working against the person working hardest against Rachel.
whatever that means.
So fine. And but yeah, so it speaks to Vince's ability as a social player and just to get along with people and to get in good with people, is that he the person he did not want to win HOH won HOH and put him on the block, and his number one ally won the veto and is probably not going to use it on him, and he's still probably going to be fine.
I would say this about Rachel's positioning here is like having Vince not go home here honestly is not the worst thing for her game. I think it's something that Rachel does well and did well when Zay was in the game. ZAE, by the way, that's how it's spelled. She was like, I'm going to make you my enemy and I'm going after you. And that's kind of been her with Vince for the past few weeks. And I think that's helped her game, honestly, in the sense that people aren't looking to nominate her. She still hasn't been nominated. Mickey and Morgan, they're aware that, like, okay, yeah, we don't want Rachel in the game, I guess, but she has bigger fish to fry. She's not coming after us. Haha, for sure. Haha. She's going after Vince. So I don't think it's the worst thing, especially when Vince like takes this information. Is like, I don't even know like why she would go after me.
She's such a bully.
Yeah, which only makes it funnier, honestly. Vince is a fun person to watch meltdown. It's fun to see him be unhappy, especially when he was in that egg costume last week. That's great.
A lot of good pictures from that. A lot of good stills.
I loved during the eviction episode last week while the votes were going on, he just put his egg hat over his eyes while Zach is basically openly sighing. Vince is just like that the whole time. It's great. Like,
what a coward.
Seriously, he's coward incarnate. He's Mr. Coward. Just in everything he's done, he's been absolutely no spine whatsoever. But
Yeah.
I honestly almost enjoy watching that. I'm enjoying watching Vince in my own way. Like I don't really want him to go home. I want to see how he can beg and plead to people and just keep getting away with it.
Yeah.
Um,
It,
he's like a cockroach. It's
it is
great.
seriously, I think that the thing that would stop Vince in his tracks is if he won HOH and had to make another decision,
Yeah.
he would almost inevitably make the wrong one, and he would probably find himself on the block after it.
hmm Well, I mean, I think once again, he's going to find himself on the block for a
Yes.
while.
Yeah.
I think the thing that Rachel needs to do if she actually wants to get rid of him is she needs to be like, oh, yeah, I'm not going after Vince anymore. And the way that people are so against Rachel, they'll be like, why would she say that? They must be working together. We got to get rid of
Yeah.
Vince. He's a snake.
It's
You know?
genius. Yeah, just start telling people, Vince and I smoothed it out. Just,
Especially if Nikki's still in the game, that's a death sentence for Vince. Um, so yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't really know. I do think Vince has like probably top third win equity still, but
oh yeah.
I also don't think it's going to be because he wins competitions necessarily. I think it would be because somebody, cough, Keanu, is like, I need to take my buddy Vinny to the end because we've been on the same page this whole game and we've never ever disagreed or betrayed each other ever,
Famously.
famously. Um, so yeah, that's Vince.
That's Vince.
Next up is Kelly. Yeah, Kelly. Yeah.
Kelly, you came into the game wanting to be Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of were. In some ways, you were way worse. But in some ways, you were way better.
Yeah.
And are. And this is not my goodbye message to Kelly. I don't know why I'm saying it like this. But Kelly, yeah, I mean, I'll give her credit where credit is due. I think she has definitely made a little bit of a name for herself. I wouldn't say that she has a lot of big fans. But
No.
I think she's turned her reputation around a little bit just by, doing all this insane shit and not being evicted yet. How long will that last? I have no idea. Probably the next 45 minutes. And then so yeah, Kelly, good job. But was it worth it? Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, was it worth it? Probably not. Because Kelly, I think, is the biggest goat in this game. Like you could say a lot about Rachel. You could make the case, but I think if Rachel pitches her case well enough, I do think some people would respect it and would vote for her. I don't see Kelly getting any votes at the end, basically, no matter what. I think what she did those first few weeks just has tainted her game in the eyes of everybody.
Yep.
Everybody. Like, there were no exceptions. Like, I think literally everybody sees Kelly as just a total non factor right now. Like, when all the stuff was happening last week about Zach and Keanu and Vince, and like it's going to be a close vote between them, and like who knows who's going to go home in any of those situations. Kelly was just like a total, like she was the last person thought of for everybody. Like I kept forgetting she was still in the game. It feels like she should have gone home
Yeah.
week 2, and she's still here. Seems kind of true about Keanu, honestly. And it's just kind of like, how far are they going to go now?
It's insane that the week 1 and week 2 boots weren't Kelly and Keanu in that order. Like it's kind of mind-boggling that they're still here, and it has made for they've certainly been two of the bigger characters on the season and two of the more exciting people to watch for kind of the right and wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I fully agree that Kelly is because assuming through the jury dynamic that because it's a final 2, there is one person on the cast who cannot win no matter what. It doesn't matter who they go to the end with. There's 11 people left in the game. It could be them with any one of the other 10 people, and they just cannot get the jury votes together. That person in theory has to exist somewhere. Is it Kelly? I don't actually know for sure, because I think that if Kelly can kind of stay out of the hot water with everyone who's not Mickey for long enough and just let everybody else get so pissed off and like upset with each other. There's a possibility that Kelly gets to the end next to like if Kelly and Ashley are the final two,
Yeah.
I think that it's just a crapshoot.
Honestly, that's a good point. That probably is the person that you could make the case for being the goat of the season, which is funny because Ashley should not be in that position
She should not
because
be at all.
she has way better reads than way, way, way better reads than Kelly does.
Yeah.
But they kind of exist in the same problem, which is like they are the ones who get the most shit talked about them behind their backs. It's Ashley and Kelly. Keanu's also not far behind, but I don't know.
And Rachel, I'd say.
Oh well, yeah, certainly Rachel. Got a lot of people really, but not Riley. Not Riley.
Not Riley.
Um,
No, everybody loves Riley. Everybody says nice things about him all the time for some reason. Nobody has a bad word to say about Riley.
mhm. So
God knows why.
to me, it's like these people who, I mean, people online are saying are like getting bullied and stuff like that, which it's Big Brother. You signed up for this. I mean, I kind of get it. Like what Taylor went through. Yeah, that's bullying. And what Kelly's going through, it's like this is all self-inflicted. Like at least a lot of it is self-inflicted. Like she has done this instigating stuff on purpose and made herself like this unsympathetic figure in the house purely by her own doing, just because she wanted to. So,
Are you familiar with Vanderpump Rules?
Yes, I am familiar with Vanderpump Rules. Yes.
So the like, speaking of like the Taylor Hale thing and like the Taylor Hale story is so magical and like has launched her into reality TV stardom,
She's
rightfully
already
so.
a legend, basically.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like she is my favorite non-survivor reality TV winner, probably contestant of all time. I love Taylor Hale. That's such a good story. There is a similar parallel there to Ariana Madix and what she went through with Tom Sandoval. For the people listening who don't know what we're talking about, there was a television show called Vanderpump Rules, and it followed it was essentially a Real Housewives spinoff following one of the housewives, Lisa Vanderpump, and her chain of restaurants, specifically Sir Sexy Unique Restaurant and its wait staff. And it followed them over the course of 11 seasons as they became filthy rich, and each one of them was a uniquely disgusting human being. And in the third season, Tom Sandoval cheats on his girlfriend, Kristen Doty,
Yeah, it's
with
Kristen.
another member of the wait staff, Ariana Madix. The two of them then
Shouts out.
get into a relationship. They are together for 9 years, at which point Tom Sandoval then gets into a 7-month affair with not somebody on the wait staff, but a friend of Ariana's, a woman named Raquel. And it launched Ariana Madix into stardom. She's the host of Love Island. She is such a
people
big
love
name.
her.
People love this woman. And the kind of
She's
fallout
great.
of both the Taylor Hale win and the Ariana Madix being cheated on is similar in that on shows in the kind of vein, you get people who, when they are wronged, they play up the amount they are wronged as much as they can because they want people to rally behind them. In Big Brother, we see it where like if you have somebody who, the word bully gets thrown around all the time in this house because we had an instance where somebody was bullied and they won the game in spite of it, and it launched them into stardom, and now everybody wants to be a victim in the way that was so that they can overcome it and become super famous. And that happened a lot on Love Island, in Love Island season 6.
Oh my
That
God.
happened in Love Island. I would argue that was what Huda was doing as well in Love Island season 7. So it is interesting how much a little event can change the way people behave on future seasons of that show or similar shows.
That is a fantastic point, Alec. And it kind of goes back to what we were saying before about like people trying to craft their own narratives in the house. Like this is what I want my storyline to be. I think that's certainly what Kelly's storyline wants to be, but I think everybody wants to play themselves up as a martyr for something, Martyr for Mickey would be like, I'm a martyr for ethical
For
blah blah blah.
God.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I'm a martyr for God. I'm who's deserving and who's not deserving or something. Um, and it's just I think it's honestly just the changing tides of reality
Yeah.
television. Maybe it's because of Taylor in a roundabout way. I don't really think so. I think it's more of just like a social media thing and more of like a stan culture thing and more like, hey, I can people will want to see me on other things if this turns out well enough. So I got to make sure I look good enough on TV. And, I want people to love me when I come out of the house, which I guess is probably something that already always existed in Big Brother. But I think it was a little different back in the day. It
Yeah.
manifested more in itself like, I don't know, I want to be an actor after this or something.
Yeah. And of course, the people who have always, like, you go on reality television, if you're the type of person who would do such a thing or accept an offer or seek out the opportunity, you are probably a person who wants to be liked.
Yeah.
And the way that manifests changes as you see other people succeed in that, like a Taylor or an Ariana.
Yeah, and I will say this. I don't mean to make this an Ariana Automatics and Love Island talk, but I think you just brought up Love Island season 7. That is a season I watched almost the entirety of, and I really didn't put out a podcast about it. But now's my opportunity to talk about it and the
Let's
idea
go.
of being genuine. The reason Amaya won is because she was being genuine and like herself, and it didn't feel like she was out to try to get some alternative like thing outside the game and get clout. Basically everybody else on that season felt like they were just there for clout, especially nowadays, especially afterwards, where you can see people parading on social media. I do not for a second believe Nick and Alandria are in love. You can't convince me. I don't care.
There's
I
no
don't
way.
want to see them on my timeline anymore. Nick is the most annoying white boy I've ever seen in my life, and people love him for some reason. I've always hated him. I have
Oh
not
my
been able to
God.
stand him the whole time. Alandria is cool, I guess, but now it's just like I feel like they're cloud chasing. They just want to keep extending their 15 minutes of
I,
fame. And it's like that's just the changing tides of reality TV. All right, that was
yeah,
mine.
as someone who also didn't get a chance to podcast about Love Island season 7, I have to just say this also. Again,
Yeah.
maybe Joey, you can put a timestamp for how people can skip the Love Island talk, but I just have to say this because I will never get an opportunity to speak on a platform about this. The moment at the end of Love Island 7 where you have, spoilers,
I
Amaya who wins, and she's such this genuine person, and it's so
mhm.
like you can like it is just so obvious why she won. America falls in love with her. It's an amazing story for Amaya specifically, but they
Yeah.
win as a couple, and she's with Brian. And Brian is there, and Brian is one of the Casa guys. He shows up like more than midway through the season. He's just kind of a nobody. They couple up very last minute because of some stuff that happens. He stands up for her when she's getting a lot of flack, and then they kind
Mhm.
of their romance buds after that. And there's always this kind of question mark there of, is Brian being legit about this, or does he just kind of see the writing on the wall that America probably likes Brian, really likes Amaya, and is just out for the money here? Like that question is always there. It's never like it doesn't always seem that way. It's just you never really get the answer. And then finally, the
Mhm.
end of the show happens, and I didn't know this until I was watching this. I didn't know how Love Island finale worked, where it's not just okay, you guys win. It's you win, you both of you win. One of you gets the money, and then you have to choose whether or not you share it. And what do you know? Brian is the one who gets the money out of a random draw. And there's this moment of suspense in the air, just for a second, where it's like, oh my god, if Brian, this nothing of a guy, takes the money here, he lives on in reality TV infamy forever.
Yeah.
This guy is everybody knows this man's name forever. And he doesn't take the opportunity. He shares the money with Amaya, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I was always going to." Like, what are you talking about? But like, that is so. Brian, it was called into question if you were just chasing for the clout, but you definitely weren't, because if you had taken that money, my friend, you would be booked and busy for the rest of your life. And he didn't
But
do it.
at the same time, it's also keeping up appearances. Like there's no reason to think that Brian still wasn't being fake about it necessarily. I still kind of think he was maybe. Where he shares this money because he wants the magical storyline of their love to continue, comma or something. And so he can get on future seasons of other reality shows later. I mean, you could say the same thing if he just kept the money. Maybe he was in a great position regardless for that. But like it's I think people, especially who go on reality TV, the less like strategic it is, such as Big Brother, which I think is certainly this season a little less strategic than a Survivor. Um, I think they are more caught up with how will I look after this and how will I turn this into clout.
And I think I haven't seen Brian's fucking face since the season ended, but
Yeah.
I can guarantee I would have if he took that money.
Yep, that's
So,
true. That's a
not
good
saying he
point.
should have. I'm just saying if he did, you wouldn't. And this is your first time hearing about it. If you're listening to me speak, you would not have been hearing about it for the first time out of my mouth.
That's true. Yeah, but to segue that back into Big Brother, I mean,
Please.
people from the past few seasons have also sort of paraded their time on Big Brother into clout chasing to some extent. Quinn and Cam and Corey, these are just the people that come to mind immediately who have Twitch channels now and stream now. And that's not even going into all the people who are always talking about the game on IG or whatever. Like, everybody is now like a media personality about the show that they were on. You can't just simply be a contestant and then get off the show and then go away. Yeah. Funnily enough, one of the people who did that was Cam. I haven't seen anything about Cam since he was on Big Brother Reindeer Games, and I'm happy about that.
Thank God.
But like, that's the thing. Like, I can guarantee you that some of these players will be like, I'm gonna try to make a Twitch career after this. Like, I can see Adrian trying to do Twitch and like getting 3 viewers.
Jimmy's probably going to be like a red carpet host for somebody.
Yeah, he'll host a podcast with like, I don't know, Ashley, which that would be awesome.
That would be great. Zach and Zay are going to make TikToks with Matt forever.
Oh my God. Yeah, I totally forgot about Matt. Yeah, like he was the first boot on the season, Matt was, and he's still talking. He was still talking about who was he in love with?
Mackenzie.
Yeah, Mackenzie. Yeah, he was talking about their everlasting love for like.
I think they're together. I think they are dating.
Well, it shows how much I care about Matt and Mackenzie, I guess.
Good for him. Hey, he won in the end, and now he makes TikToks about Angela every day.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, for those Big Brother contestants, I mean, hey, they paraded that into a whole Amazing Race season, so I guess it works for them. So
yeah, got Angela back on TV. Shout out.
Shouts out. Boy, okay, let's keep talking.
List?
Yeah, we were talking about Kelly, and we kind of talked about more interesting things. Next up is Catherine.
Oh yeah, more interesting things. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I feel bad for Catherine, and that's all I feel about Catherine. Really, is like, I don't even know if she realizes how gross this guy is being to her, and I kind of wish he'd stop. And other than that, I don't really feel anything for Catherine.
The question I have when it comes to Catherine is like, what player was she supposed to be when she walked into the house? Because I feel like clearly the producers wanted her to be in some sort of showmance. They were playing up, like in her intro package, like, yeah, haha, I don't think I'll fall in love, but haha, we'll see, haha, or whatever.
Haha, lol.
Haha. But like, here we are. It's like the producers have gotten exactly what they wanted. But like, there's a wrinkle. Like, Catherine did not want this. This was all thrust upon her. She did not want any of this. So like, what was she supposed to be? What did she want to be going into the house? Why did she apply for this show? I don't know the answer to any of this.
Did she apply for the show?
A great question. I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't know how she got here. I don't know what she's doing here. I think she probably wants to leave. But I think I don't know. I the whole Riley and Catherine thing is so like draining.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I just I have no clue how she actually feels about this guy. She calls. I always think back to her calling herself a raging feminist in her.
Me too. Yeah, it's so
it's
funny.
Just like, and now you're with like fucking Ted Bundy.
So something funny that Pam brought up to me when I had her on the show that I did not realize is that before the season, she said that she does not like people. And that's funny because
Catherine said that?
Yeah, Catherine said that. Yeah, I think my internet's cutting in and out.
No,
a
I
little bit.
didn't know if you meant. I didn't know if Catherine had said that or that was the lead. That was how Pam started the conversation with you. Where she
No,
was
no,
like,
no.
"I don't like people."
I think Pam enjoys people to some
I think
extent.
so
I don't
too.
think Catherine does. I
I
think
don't think
Catherine
so.
said something to the extent of like, yeah, I'd rather just be at home doing nothing with my cat than interact with people or something like that. And it's like, yeah, and now here you are. This is probably your worst nightmare, and you're living it out, and you cannot get away from this guy. So
Match made in hell.
seriously, like this is I I don't even know. Why did I guess Riley really is just the worst person because like it is not personality at all. He is purely attracted to her from a physical standpoint.
Yeah,
They have nothing in common. They have nothing in common. They're both like young people, I guess. They're both white.
I've
That's about it.
I've never seen them share a laugh.
No.
That's not me saying it hasn't happened, but I've never seen the two of them laugh together.
It's all been either contentious arguments, like kind of passive aggressive, or in Riley's case, not passive aggressive, just very
Aggressive.
direct yelling.
Or him
Or
love
it's
bombing
him,
her.
yeah, or it's him being like, I'll do anything. I can't do an impression. I'm not
That
gonna
was
try.
good. No, you were
Yeah,
right
thanks.
on.
Haha. But no, it's like either he's doing that or he's uncomfortably touching her. Like
Mm-hmm.
those are the three wolves inside Riley. Um, so and Catherine has not been able to like play her own game. Like if she gets to the end somehow and it's her against Riley, I have full faith that Riley would probably sweep the jury.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. And and we'll talk about this also when we get to Rachel, maybe. But I don't like at all how much Rachel likes them as a couple, and I think I want to give Rachel the benefit of the doubt and say that she doesn't know the full extent of like what's going on and that she just, it's there's a showmance happening and she obviously is biased towards that because it was something like her whole life got set up by a showmance. So why wouldn't she be excited for people who seem to be in a happy showmance from the outside? But I can't even imagine how you would see them as that because Jesus Christ,
yeah,
this guy's insane. Um,
I
so
think
I'm annoyed at Rachel for that.
yeah, I think this is the point where we can transition to Rachel because I ain't got nothing else to say about Catherine.
Oh, is that
Um,
is there nobody after Catherine between Rachel? Oh, it's
I
Jimmy
mean,
Amy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Then yeah, we can talk about Rachel.
Um, to transition into Rachel, I would say that like a Rachel in this cast is like the most strategically sound player, but that's not to say that she is not still an emotional player because that's what
Yep.
she's always been. She's
Yep.
always been an emotional player,
Why we love her.
and and I truly believe that even though she is the mastermind of this cast, some way somehow she's still blinded by what she wants to see have happen, which is she wants to create this path forward with Keanu, the only person she genuinely likes in the house. And she wants to see Riley and Catherine fall in love and go and live on a wonderful suburban home in Alabama together for the rest of time. Um, I believe that she wants that to happen, and so she is just like she sees what she wants to see. Rachel is a smart player in this household, but I don't think that she is the smartest player. I do think she still has her holes, and I think this is probably the most obvious one right now in this game. So
Yeah, it's a huge oversight for Rachel to not be going after this couple.
I
Although
mean,
Rachel really, I guess Rachel has reason to go after everybody because there's very few people who actually are keeping Rachel's best interest in mind.
yeah,
And Riley and Catherine are certainly not among them, but they're also not the only ones.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is like Rachel. I almost get it if it is from a strategic point of view because Riley and Catherine are two of the only people in the game who I don't think she is aware are actively going after her. And I don't think they are actively going after her. I think the two of them are going after well, I don't even know who they're going after. They're just doing their own thing. I don't know. They're an afterthought to everybody. They're
Yeah.
doing whatever. They were going after Mickey Morgan and Ashley. That's who they were going after. And so it's like, okay, I kind of get if Rachel was like, yeah, this is for strategy, you know, but it's not for strategy. It's for love. That's why she's smushing them together and being like, now kith or whatever. So yeah,
She's playing toys.
She's playing toys.
But
Yeah.
other than that, other
Other
than
than that,
Rachel's weird opinion about Catherine and Riley, you know, thank God she's here.
seriously, which is so funny because when she walked into the house, I know you have not seen Rachel Riley on television before, but I've seen her on a lot of things, and none of them were Big Brother. I saw her on The Amazing Race. I saw her on The Traitors. I saw her on Worst Cooks in America, Heroes versus Villains, a bunch of RHAP podcasts, and some other secret fit thing. Um, and I was always like, I don't quite get it. Like I know that people like her. I don't quite get it. She seems a little annoying. But now I'm like, thank God for Rachel. My bad. I signed my apology form. I did not get it. My bad.
Could you imagine if she wasn't on the season?
I mean, who Vince would be running the game. This would be Vince's season to lose if Rachel wasn't in the game, and it still might be Vince's season to lose.
It's like the cast without Rachel does not have legs. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't. It at first, and people had mixed feelings when it was like, oh Rachel's here, like 17th house guest actual this time. It's not like an Ainsley. It's not like a Sari where it is a reality TV vet, but somebody who has no connection to Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just straight up. This is a Big Brother legend. This is a winner. She's
Mount
coming back
Rushmore, apparently. Yeah.
apparently, and some people had mixed feelings where it was like, oh, we'll give this cast like their time to shine. Like now Rachel's going to take away the spotlight of the season. And it's just like, this cast was designed, it seems like, with Rachel being the glue that holds it together and the thing that makes it function as a cast. Because just imagining the 16 of them without Rachel, it just seems like it feels like it would have felt like there was a very big piece missing. So thank God Rachel is here.
I mean, the season would already be so different if Rachel wasn't here. I think Zay would have survived week one. I think Mickey would probably still have a strong arm over the entire game. I think Vince would have Keanu and maybe even still Kelly in his pocket. It would be so different, and it would be so much less dynamic. It would just be like, all right, let's wait until the final 7 for the game to really start.
Yeah, it would be okay. Let's see if Vince or Mickey wins the season. Let's see who wins.
Yeah.
And it's gonna feel like a slog no matter who gets there. And now Rachel, like I don't think Kelly or Keanu would probably still be in the game if Rachel was never in the house. And I think like a Zay and a Zach probably would be. And everything would be different and it would feel worse.
Yeah, so shouts out to Rachel. I also do think that like besides the fact that she probably loses in the final 2 no matter what, I think she's in a pretty darn good spot. Like I think that people are going to be nominating her, but I think she has gotten enough good allies. So I don't necessarily think that she'll go home immediately if she gets nominated, though I could be wrong. I mean, people like Vince are certainly going after her. Whoever survives between Nikki and Morgan is going to go after her. But beyond that, I mean, I don't think Ashley would go after her. Riley and Catherine, I don't think would go after her. I think it's just those two people, whoever they may be. So,
and
yeah.
I think also if Rachel, what might come down to as well, because I know Rachel was feeling a little bit dejected as she kind of started to realize that people were just like, when it was seeming like Jimmy was going to be the one going home or the renom option or whatever it was, that it was like, okay, well, if people have already made up their mind that they're just waiting for me to get to jury and then they're going to vote me out and then I'm going to be the first juror and I'm going to be gone, like I would rather just be at home with my family if I have no chance. So just get rid of me now. And I think if Rachel becomes dejected, I think that is going to hurt her immensely. But if she can just stay focused and lock in and be here to play the game and playing to win, I think that she could very easily talk herself out of a bad spot amongst this cast, because these people are not good at the game.
True. That's pretty true. I mean, look, I think Rachel, like, if she wins, it'll be maybe not Taylor Hale, but it'll be one of the best storylines in Big Brother history. Like this woman who was, told to her face multiple times, like, I want you on the jury, winning. It'd be great. It's just a matter of like, all right, but part of winning is convincing this cast that you deserve to win. And they've spoken into existence this idea of not only do we not want to vote for you to win, we don't even think you deserve to win.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't. I do think Rachel is better enough strategically than once again everybody else in this cast, especially now that Zach is gone, who I thought was the best strategic player for a while, which is really saying something.
And then he had to make a decision.
And then he had to make a decision.
It was I remember one of the first, I think it was like maybe the first roundtable podcast that our RHAP did, where it was just like, okay, well, Zach is guaranteed jury because he's got the veto and he's physical and he's well liked and whatever. And sometimes somebody can have everything going for them and they're on paper, but they're just completely blind to it and they flush it all down the toilet. And then sometimes somebody can have absolutely nothing for them going on at all and have no business winning the game, and then they win the game.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just wild. All of it.
We live in a crazy time.
Well, those are the people. I think overall, the theme of this podcast is who knows what's happening. I don't know.
Yeah. What the fuck is going on in Big Brother 27?
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts, Alec?
I am genuinely excited to see how this season plays out. I feel like a big problem with a lot of the Big Brother end games is that they become a huge slog as there are single digit people in the house past once after a double eviction hits in the mid to late game, it really fucking slows down. And I don't suspect that this season will take that same trajectory. I think that this is going to be a season that is up in the air as it goes into the finish line. I just hope that as it's up in the air, the people that it's up in the air between, I'm not completely irritated by.
Yeah, I think there is a decent shot. We'll see once Survivors starts back up, parentheses the US one. But I think there's a decent shot at just keep doing this podcast through. Like, if Keanu stays in the game, like, there's going to be something new to talk about with him every week. And that'll be good enough for me.
And so it's at some point somebody is going to make more, there's going to be more horrible decisions to talk about along the way.
Yeah.
Like when Lauren doesn't use the veto.
Yeah, there hasn't been any reason to think that the bad decisions will slow down anytime soon, because even if it's not directly relating to the week, you still have bad decisions, in general, that will come back to bite people. Like, for instance, Lauren not using the veto, assuming that she doesn't, which, once again, I'm pretty sure that she's not. Things like Ashley just doing whatever. I don't know. There are so many examples. Riley's existence. Keanu's probably going to flip on Rachel. Like, I see these things in my mind's eye, like they're gonna happen. It's just a matter of
when and how. And I hope it's just ridiculous. Like that is what I'm hoping for in this season. I hope it stays ridiculous. So Big Brother 27.
Big Brother 27. What else more can you really say about it? Well, thank you, Alex, so much for joining us today.
Joey, thank you for having me. I love talking to you about shows.
Yeah. We'll do it again soon. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I appreciate you. So thank you, and goodbye.